Today, Greenlanders are casting their votes in what is likely to be one of the most closely watched elections in its history.
We want to have the sovereignty of Greenland. We are fully aware that we can't reach utopia. We need to have partners in that sense. So we want sovereignty of our country and own our country.
U.S. President Donald Trump's expressions of interest, we'll put it that way, in acquiring Greenland has put it in the global spotlight. What we've learned is that Greenland is an autonomous territory in the Kingdom of Denmark, where there has been a growing push for independence for years now. With more on today's election, I'm joined now by Mark Lantain, political science professor at the University of Tromsø, Norway, and he's an adjunct lecturer at the University of Greenland. Good morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you.
So let's get straight to it. The U.S. president seems determined to acquire Greenland. Here he is repeating his claims to Congress last week. Let's listen.
We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
So, Mark, how is Trump's rhetoric sitting with voters as they go to the polls today?
It is certainly the #1 topic in the election right now. There has been so much discussion about what these comments mean for Greenland's political future, its relationship with Denmark, its eventual path towards independence. There are a lot of other issues that could have been discussed at this election, but it's pretty much a one-issue situation right now.
There are about 56,000 people who live in Greenland, about 90% of the population being Inuit. Part of the push for independence there has also been to increase ties with other Inuit here in Canada, Alaska. So how does that play into Greenlanders' feelings about this election?
Yes, exactly. Like when the Trump government first floated the idea of purchasing Greenland, so we go back to about 2019, the response from the Greenland government was, we are not for sale, but we are open for business. And yes, Greenland has been calling for expanding its foreign policy ties with Europe, with Canada, with the United States, with many different partners. There was even a foreign policy document that discussed this last year. So certainly there's no difficulties with increasing ties with the United States, but the idea of the United States actually purchasing Greenland, to put it mildly, it's been very divisive.
Independence has been on the table, as you point out, since 2009. What does it mean, and why is it so vitally important at this moment?
Well, it was that year, 2009, where a Self-Rule Act was signed between Greenland and Denmark, which gave Greenland the right to sovereignty, the right to self-determination. And much political discussion within Greenland is not necessarily about whether independence is a good idea. Many of the parties do agree that independence will happen in the future. It's a question of the timetable, and it's a question of under what conditions and what kind of partnerships Greenland might develop.
Where does Denmark stand on the idea of Greenland's independence?
There's been an acceptance in the Danish government, the current Danish administration, that independence will happen. Nevertheless, the Danish government has said that this should be done in a very incremental fashion, that there should be some discussion about future ties between Greenland and Denmark under various scenarios. And certainly, Denmark very much wishes to maintain a certain amount of linkages with Greenland upon independence, but current situation has thrown that completely into the air. It has certainly caused a great deal of concern in Copenhagen that this process has been upended.
We'll be watching for the results. Mark Lantain, thanks so much for talking with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.